Good afternoon. Welcome to another podcast from Traders Community. Welcome all the investors and traders and punters and dribblers out there. We have the glorious Madavi here
and
joining us. Brought to you by traderscommunity.com. Follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Remember, not financial advice, just traders comparing notes, updating you, seeing what we're seeing what we're hearing, and all that good stuff. Well, today opened up more on the downside, hit some more of our targets, so we're able to take some profit in, particularly on a couple of the dribbler stocks. As you know, yesterday, actually we got lucky on one yesterday, Madavi, which we had that hood. We had puts on that, remember, then we sold it, turned it into a spread, and then this morning it was down another $1 or something, and we're like, shit. Nice. But, so I'm thinking, okay, too early. And then after hours, it popped up like $2 on a Fidelity, what do you call it? A Fidelity disclosure, 7+% of a one of the who was it again? FTX, I think was the name. Anyway, a crypto exchange. So it popped up. So sometimes you get lucky. However, on the flip side of that, if you remember, I had a good short on Etsy just via puts. Go to take profit, couldn't get hit, turn around, the thing ran up $8. So there's a story there in both those punters and dribblers, is that take your profit when you can, and remember I said it's better to get out early rather than late, so Hood was a good example, and because of the nature of the market just getting drilled, I wasn't energetic enough on Etsy. I should have just taken it, right? So these bear markets is full of those sort of things. So things that you think could get taken over, you got to be a little bit protective of, because a lot of it's fake news, right? If not all.
Mate, I bought some Upstart.
Oh, some Upstart. So who was the other one just before we came on? Coin was one that we saw pop up. So that's another one that, either Cathie Wood, you'll read's buying a lot. How long she survives, we don't know. She may survive forever. Who knows? It's not the point.
She's going to survive as long as people keep giving her money, and I don't see that stopping.
Yeah, I was quite surprised that people are still putting money in it. I guess it's all that averaging down.
Well, she's going to run those funds. People are not going to pull out those funds now. They're down 80%. So, trade going, and hopefully she'll be around for the next bull market, and it'll be back to business.
Right, 100%. And so remember, a lot of the stuff we do is we sell a bunch of puts when they hit our targets. Some of them we bought like a lot back. Like who'd we buy back? Palantir.
You're watching Upstart? It's doing pretty good.
Yeah. So we're going to have a quick one today because we got quite a few positions. After the hours, because Powell came out and basically now he's affirmed, and we did trade affirm too. Now he's affirmed confirmed as the new Fed governor. There was a few people against him, I guess. But basically, it was always going to happen. He's come out hardcore on inflation, right? So that banged SPUs down, 20, Nasdaq maybe down 100. So without further ado, there was a lot of bargain hunting by people in, particularly in Nasdaq, went from big negative to positive, as we were just saying with some of those companies we were illustrating. And so you're going to get a lot of that in bear markets, and as long as that keeps unfolding, you keep an eye open on that. You'll get situations like Hood, you'll get other stuff go to zero. Anyway, oil, 106.62, that shrugged off lower demand forecasts. S&P 39.14 got as low as 38.60. These aren't strong bounces. The Nat Gas basically sideways 7.62. They came out with the EIA report. And a reminder, we had the PPI report this morning, which wasn't as bad as feared. It was a shocking high number. Gives you an idea what's acceptable. Nasdaq 11,876. So SPUs, real quick. Let's look at the weekly and daily. You can see We're flirting with this trend line that we busted, this retesting the break line. That's kind of right where we are. 39.14 on cash. Look at cash. Is a good indicator in this. You can see we're well under all these supports on the daily. Tomorrow is, for those superstitious, Friday the 13th. So Jason. So you never know. Weird things can happen.
Mate's cousin, by the way. You guys don't know that?
I've got enough pagan in me to know to be wary, right? If we look at Nasdaq, and remember we lightened up, took a lot of profit over the last few days. So, and there's a reason why we do that, right? Why is that? Mental awareness, mental relax, all that sort of stuff. And remember we had a certain friend of ours recovering from becoming a very, very old man. But anyway, so here's Nasdaq. So you can see if for those who understand Ichimoku, we basically just rebalanced the Chico. Went down under minus 1/8 and flipped around. So generally, the Chico, see how that's turned up? So often, this is where it gets hard. So we're going to show you the shorter term one, then I get Madavi on. But you can see how the green spug right at the end. But if you go to the 60, see it had already recalced. So that made it difficult. For me anyway, just looking at that. But we had a 300 handle or 200 handle bounce off that. Enough to get NQ's barely positive. Any thoughts on NQs today? We didn't do a lot of futures today.
The only NQ trade I basically did is when we were about to go from positive to negative, I got
this one up here.
Back my full position and should have gone out. I think we were like 200 points down, but I waited till 80 points down. I got stopped and it ran up again. And then when it ran back down in the aftermarkets, I put it back on.
Yeah,
but I did save myself. But I put it back at the 60, so that way I don't have no slippage.
Right.
Kills you in this game. You know, slippage is like inflation plus interest and taxes.
So after hours, well put. So after hours, you can see the futures are starting back up on Nasdaq. It's popped up a little bit, took back some Powell. So there's constant spins on what Powell says. People are interpreting what he said here that calls it getting tough as positive. I'm not sure why. You're also getting some intervention in Hong Kong going on right now where they're buying dollars. And so that's being taken as some kind of intervention or supportive of the market. That's what's going on right now as we speak. Okay, that's why this little pop right here.
But why would they do that? What does Hong Kong care about the dollar?
Well, they're supporting, they're buying Hong Kong dollars because the US dollar is so strong.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
Just to show it.
Why would Hong Kong be buying after what?
Well, so basically they have a trading band in the Hong Kong dollar. It trades separate to one. And they're trying to smooth that out. So there's all this panic all over the world. Like you had the Tether breakdown on Bitcoin and I think it's just all. I mean, it's a thin market. People are looking for an excuse to buy. I mean, I'm just looking at the news, and that seems to be the only thing. So remember today, the US dollar hit a 20-year high on the index. So
they love that. They can't get enough of it, man.
So the way it works in some current countries is they just want to stop the rut for to make a financial market to look more stable, right?
They want the clean stuff, so they go for the dollar.
Right. Well, that's a Hong Kong dollar I'm talking about, not the US dollar. Right?
I know, I'm joking.
Oh, right. So here we are on oil and gas. We spoke about that. It broke the 50 yesterday. It stayed up it all day. Nothing really much to see here. You have... That's an hourly, so we don't need to look too much past that. The Natty gas, let's look at a 5 minute. Remember we saw this yesterday, just all sideways. Same thing today, just higher. So you can see it's kind of squeezing. And that'll depend on what weather is out in the next 24 hours as far as that goes. Anything in commodities, can't say I looked at them too much today, but you saw copper continue down near the end of the week on the lows there, right? You saw gold come down and finally test that target. See that breakup level? So that's interesting. It needs to hold this. And for those that doubt there's a relationship between a dollar and gold, just look how gold did a double top. The dollar, that was right when dollar was correcting, and the dollar's been rallying ever since. Silver, what do you call silver again?
Poor man's gold.
And remember, someone was saying I was nuts being a bear on this piece of crap. Someone on Twitter. But look at this, mate. $7 down. Silver, and it closed almost at its low, down at 20.60. And like I said, there's no real support till this channel, which right now is at 19.12. And then that's also the breakup point if you look across. So we did have the WASD reports today. So those that trade grains, etc., or commodities. As I've said before, I don't really trade them. Occasionally we'll dick around on, that's a technical term, on things like these ETFs. But wheat traded up on it. Beans traded down on it. Corn traded up on it. So there you go. If you trade any of those, look into them more deeply. I think that, of course, I forgot about this little piece of crap. So this is called Bitcoin, and it's a safe asset, they told us. Whoops.
No, you got to go to stablecoin.
The stablecoin's even safer, right? It only loses 80%. Yeah, but in all seriousness, the panic, and every newspaper article was the end. People lost all their money. I read some article where the guy who started Coin went from 12 to 2 billion from last year. Well, that's more a reflection of totally overpriced a coin, right? You're still worth 2 billion though, Madabi. I'll take that, eh?
No, but stablecoin pays you like a huge amount of interest, rips. I mean, something up to 30%.
Yeah, but didn't it fall 80%, Roman said, some of that stuff?
No, it's just they pay you in their coin.
So Bitcoin got down today. I guess that's early this morning, is it?
Yeah, look at that one.
At 25,269, and then it's bounced all the way back to 29,900. So let's call it 30,000. So 5,000, and now we've fallen another 2,000. So you can see, if you want a dribbler's punter, and actually this is more a punter and dribbler's ever you've seen it, it would be this stuff.
Some people like excitement, mate. You know?
Yeah, they get it with this. So we nearly, and look what we did. We hit that first target we spot, just short of it, that target. So just under 25 there. So this sort of stuff's not for the faint-hearted, and there's stocks like MicroStrategy and stuff that follow this. And that thing moved from went down as low as 130 something. Rally, I think, back to $200 in the middle of the house. Sorry. I just saw some people trading that. I'm like, what the freak, dude? Like it's a normal stock. Anyway, anything else? I think that's it. Oh, we should look. Is there any stocks we really want to look at?
I don't know. There's
the hood, I guess. Here, if you're wondering what we're talking about, the hood. So we were short this. We covered it yesterday here. And then this is what I'm talking about. I opened $1 low and I went, fuck. And then look what happened in the after hours.
There's that one.
That was really it, right?
No, there was Hood, there was a
firm,
Upstart, there is Coin, there is, I don't know, whatever.
Well, let's just look at here's Upstart. A firm had earnings.
I don't know if you want to look at them.
So a lot of these were in the Dribblers dozen, and we took, and so you notice we take profit and we don't just stay with them. And we've kept it fully disclosed what we've done.
I forgot to take profit.
What?
There's MSTR.
No, I mean on the Dribblers. So they had they got down as low as $13 today.
Which did?
A firm minus 2/8. It rallied with a see this Bitcoin rally and Nasdaq. If you ever doubted, they're not just total punts. All these stocks. It's mirror image of bloody Bitcoin, right? So in other words, that's why you try not to sell bottoms and buy. And so you had this, it corrected. Then they had their earnings. It was like 18, just under 18 when the earnings came out, and it ran from 18 up to 23 to 87. We did this little trade here. This is the one we did. 22.40. Remember that? Down to 20. Like 20.80, I think we got out. And now it's retraced that. What was the other one you wanted me to look at? So on this, you can see that bottoming minus 2/8. So use your Murray. Hang on.
I'm still in firm. I forgot to take profit.
Oh, yeah. So you can see minus 3/8. Once you get into this minus 2, 3, 4, 8, the risk is too great to be short. Unencumbered. And you can see that, right? So that's... See, this thing was way up there, huh? What was the one you just mentioned?
Well, I expect something really nice, and you guys could see if this happens or not. But I got a prediction.
Oh, which one?
Put it on tape so we can talk about it one day. I'm feeling the secondary.
Oh, an Upstart? Yeah, 100%. That sort of stuff. A lot of these. Explain to them why. Because
in this plan, the stock just ran up 10 points going into, we'll call it winter. For, you know what I'm talking about, winter's coming. That's not going to take advantage of this and try to take as much money as they can going into winter.
Yeah, so basically you summed it up really well today. It's like people go, oh, well, why would they sell here if they could have sold it at 160, whatever we just saw the last price. We're talking about a firm.
Easier going forward to get money.
Right, and so it wasn't real up there. It was real in the market was there, but it was all just, it's what they call it, a bubble and fluff.
Time and period. Everything has a time and period. Now this is a new time and period. Remember when we talked about, hey, this is shifting. There's like war feelings out here. Then we get a war. So everything shifts. Not everything stays the same.
So, and don't forget these companies are losing money. So they can take the punt that everything bounces. But what if it doesn't? So that's the thing.
People don't want to give them money because they lose money.
And well, they might have them. The people who are giving them to before might have been.
And the rips are going to go hard.
Margin.
Not 2% no more. They're going to be paying 18 now.
For what? Sorry?
The rate of interest is going to go from 2% where it was back then to if they have to borrow money and they can't get in on the stock stuff, they're going to pay 18s.
Yeah, it's going to go way up. So that's about it. Let's have a quick look at Apple because Apple was destroyed today.
Don't forget MSTR.
Oh, yeah. So here's Apple 138, which was at target. But it broke through this channel, right? And here it is at 7.8, 3.8 to 7.8. So you can see there's good support there. So if you're a real bull, you're hoping this is an ABC and we go to record highs, right?
This is a D.
That's a long way. What was that, mate?
This is going to fail as a D.
A D? I didn't know there was one. But here's Apple today. So you can see where it held. 138 was these lows. So always look on your charts where other supply is. That's basically what you're looking at, right? Looking for. You don't make it too highfalutin. There's all these people come out with all these, this, that, and the other. Just look where supply is. People are humans. People are but machines aren't. So always remember that. I think that's it, punters and dribblers. So good session. So tomorrow is Friday the 13th. So trade accordingly with caution. Freddie and Jason could be hanging around the corner.
Your cousin's coming to town.
What was that?
Where are you taking Jason, your cousin, to?
I think he's still in a mental hospital, isn't he?
I don't know. He keeps breaking out of there, man. He does, and he takes half the town with him every time.
Yeah, he doesn't muck around. So today, yeah. So let's have a look real quick. Go to the thing. You got everything that happened today. The big thing was Nasdaq came back from the dead. Gold, as we said, settled lower. We just saw that on the chart. So the big things to note: Nasdaq recovered. Gold went down to that break point. US dollar 20 new 20-year high. We looked at WASD. Corn and wheat were both up on it. Copper had a few issues. Vol recovered. Here's all your overnights. Robinhood we talked about. Affirm we talked about. There's a few others. Figs, all that sort of good stuff. We're way off the highs. We got those levels. Europe was down. As you know, that obviously Asia was down. Bonds, that's what I was trying to get to. So we had a 30-year auction today, and that was a strong option. When that came out, that's what got one of those sell-offs going. It was strong in this. It was like a A, I think. So what it told you was people were prepared to buy bonds at just under 3% rather than buy stock. So it was kind of a safe haven thing. We had natural gas today. That was pretty much expected. The Bank of Mexico rose rates by 0.5% today. PPI came out earlier. So it's 11% year on year, and they consider that not scary. 11% PPI. Just think about that.
They love it.
And so tomorrow we got here in earnings. I've only got us having one earnings tomorrow. PLXP. I have no idea who they are. Who?
I bet I could dig another one somewhere.
You probably could, yeah, in Lithuania or somewhere.
Yeah. They got some stuff going on.
So tomorrow we got more inflation data. We got the April import price and April export price. Prior was 2.6% for import, 4.5% for export. And we also got consumer confidence. It's the preliminary for May. So the consensus is 63.5. Last time it was 65.20. So you imagine people aren't exactly happy right now. You saw like the unpopularity of like President Biden, disillusionment with Chairman Powell, just general stuff. People not being able to do anything. You saw they're taking out massive amounts of debt to pay for all this to keep their standard going.
What do you mean? I think they're just taking out. They're spending most of it's going to one field of America's industry right now.
Yeah, a lot's going on energy prices, but also food prices. Food prices were up 9%. I mean,
I can count about $50 billion just went to the weapons companies.
Oh yeah, but the man in the street's not buying bazookas and bloody javelins, right? It's the man in the street's buying gasoline and bread and eggs and paying for health care and rent and mortgages, and none of that's good. The 30-year mortgage went up again today. I think it's like 5.25% or 5.2%. So brutal stuff. They got a great homeless system out here. So I mean, we got nice weather over here.
There's nothing to stop here. Check if the device is on your home Wi-Fi network.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, none of it's good.
But they can solve that, but they're not.
Well, I don't think they're going to be all that happy. It's going to be interesting. But there's a certain delusion and hope, like you saw in the stock market rally, it's a lot of bargain hunting, and you just wonder how much of it's cash, how much of it's hope. But they are good bloody moves. So what you want to do is go back today and look at the ones that really moved well and keep an eye on those for on these sell-offs. But you do it on -2.8s, +2.8s, that sort of thing. -2.8s to 0.8s in that band, and you look for what's the catalyst. So the catalyst today seemed to be Bitcoin turning around, drove everything around, right? And what was it? Yeah, so MicroStrategy, MSTR, is the stock Madhav is talking about. And that moves just like Bitcoin. We'll look at that, and then we'll call it a night. It is Thursday night before Thursday.
Stock, by the way, so we got to give him the credit he's due.
Who's that?
Johnny.
Oh, Johnny, yeah, Johnny.
He's when it comes to this stock, he's proficient.
I'll tell you this: he gave up drinking until he discovered this stock. So this thing moves very violently. Let me bring this wider for you. So this is today. But you can see what that is. I just showed you Bitcoin. It went from 130 all the way to 205 and that's 1325. So that's less than an hour and a half. And then we corrected all the way back to 157. This is just this afternoon, people. And then here we are at 169. So this is one that, it's obviously a very violent, crazy stock. But people just pile into these things, right?
Yeah.
And if it's options, options
right now,
are mega expensive and things like this. So we will leave you with that. Remember, it's and so for those the particularly in Aussie, New Zealand, I know it's Magic Weekend. So enjoy your football. I know it's a massive weekend over there, your rugby league.
Right.
So it is pouring rain from what I hear. So good luck to the Roosters. And those other sides who pretend they're good. No, all jokes aside, enjoy your weekend for those, because by the time you listen to this, it's already your weekend down there. And that's all from us, really. So thank you for joining us. Like, subscribe, wave to Johnny.
You got mate to bitch at, so leave your comments.
No bitching allowed.